Hello and welcome to UK Versus. Today we're going down lines that we've been doing in a couple of videos of non-universes related stuff, but we are sticking to UVS products, that's right. Today I'm going to be unboxing Star Trek Star Realms, a deck building game. So this is essentially a reskinning of the core Star Realms set. It's allowed for erratas and changes to the game that have happened since the core set came out, while also reskinning it with a Star Trek theme, which allows it to be very visually pleasing and kind of reminds me when you see like all the Monopoly games and all the other games that just incorporate IPs into them. So you've got things like My Hero Academia, Monopoly and stuff like that. It reminds me of that kind of aspect. Here we're looking at a deck builder game rather than just a basic family board game, meaning we could get further expansions. I believe Star Realms has a few expansions of their own, and with Star Trek we could look at expanding outside the factions we already have, as well as into different aspects of the movies, shows, animated series, comics. I'm very excited to see where this game goes, and I would love to get my hands on some kind of organized play for it. So, this is the box. Got nice Galaxy class Enterprise on the front. Has to be the Enterprise. I'm not too familiar with Wizard Wise Games, but I believe they're the company that initially sourced StarCraft, and UVS Games have basically reskinned it. Very excited for that. Take a look at the back. We can see the aspects of gameplay. We've got our trade deck, our scrap pile. We've got our locations in play, our play pile, our opponent's hand, the current authority levels, the two decks, our D'Qar Ferengi ships, which you have unlimited access to until they essentially run out. But I'm sure there's ways around that. And then we have our trade row, which as per the how to play video, which should have come up before this, will always have 5 cards in it, as well as this is the introductory playmat, which explains all that for you. So this box will contain 130 game cards, 20 of each faction. The 4 factions in this set are the Starfleet, Romulans, Klingons, and the Dominion. 50 unaligned cards, that's your Ferengi D'Qar ship, some raiders and some scout ships, authority counters, 1 playmat and 1 rulebook. I've already read the rules, and the rulebooks are very easy. 2 to 4 players, 14 plus, and an average game time of 14 minutes. So these are very quick games. I like this. I think it's going to be very cool. Let's have a quick read back. Forge a Federation or see it burn. Star Trek Star Realms is a complete starship combat deck building game for 2 to 4 players. Build your fleet. Romulan, Klingon, Dominion, or Federation ships are at your command. Play head-to-head at up to 4 multiplayer modes that offer versus or cooperative experience. Now, I haven't covered this in the how to play, so I'll play this after I've opened this up. On the other formats available, the multiplayer formats seem very interesting in their own right. So let's crack this open. Very tight fit, so I'm sliding it up. There we go. So we have our Star Trek rulebook. Quick reference and iconography on the back. This is just a quick rundown of the turn structure and the main phase. And then we have some ship examples. We see all the ships that we've got here. Basically a breakdown of what we've got in the box. And a rules breakdown for the setup, turn structure, and basically how to play the game. I have already done a video using this and other sources as a reference to do a how to play video, and I'm hoping to get some gameplay footage in. Then we have very nice basic playmat, trade pile here, scrap pile here, trade row, D'Qar class ship, the Ferengi ship, and then a nice little breakdown of what each of the symbols mean. Great for demoing, great for beginners learning to play the game. And then, of course, the 3 main parts of your turn. The main phase, discard phase, the draw phase. The biggest part being the main phase. But again, if you're interested in learning that aspect of the game, go check out our video. Then we have our authority counters. I imagine these can also be doubled for scrap and combat. But you start off with 50 authority, and then authority is your health total. So it will be dealt damage throughout the course of the game. And once you hit 0, you're out. So this is a great way to track your health total using the tokens. You got the 5s, 1s, and 10s, so you can always keep an accurate account of your authority total. Although I would probably recommend getting a life counting app. Tokens are fine, but when you have to also track your scrap and your combat, yes, they do reset at the end of the turn, whereas authority doesn't. With how authority works in this game, how much quickly it goes up and goes down, how quickly you can gain it, it'd be good to have a physical representation through a app or a notepad which lets you know how much people have got. Then we have our cards and this gorgeous box. As you can see here, we have the D-Class Enterprise just chilling out beautifully in this box. Don't think there's anything underneath as like a sneaky reference note. But this is a cool little thing that you can only really get because it's a Star Trek kind of thing. I would love to know if the original game, but this is so very nice. Got the engines, you can tell it's the Enterprise. I'm not the biggest Trek head, but I can even tell that this is the Enterprise from the number and of course the name. And I'll just turn it on so people can actually see it. There we go. So very cool. And then we have the cards. So we have 80 for each faction, and then we have the unaligned card, which creates our starting deck, as well as the trade road card decks. If you are interested in checking out each of these cards and what they do, you can go check it out on the UVS website. The website is in the rulebooks, but you can also just check it out and you can have a look at what these cards do. So we have our 4 factions. We have the Romulans, Dominion, Starfleet, and of course the Klingons, as well as 10 Decor class cards, 32 scout ships, and then I believe 8 raiders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 raiders. So this is primarily set up for a 4-person game, which is why you end up with 8 and 32. So everyone has an initial starting deck. We've got some great highlights within the cards that have been reskinned. We've got the Enterprise, which is reclassed here, which is a very powerful ship. 4 authority, 5 combat, and draw 2 cards, all as part of its base abilities. And then ally ability, destroy a card. We also have some locations. Now, Starfleet has some very powerful locations, I believe. It's all about gaining authority, which is very on brand for Starfleet, just gaining as much authority as you can. And then the big one, you may put the next ship you acquire this turn on top of your deck. Ally ability, draw a card. So you're getting lots of draw, getting lots of utility, but if we can spend some trade to put a powerful ship, such as the Enterprise, onto the top of our deck, then play a card, another ship, or another ability that lets us draw a card, we can essentially pop off with a very strong ability. Starfleet seems to be all about gaining authority, utilizing the draw power by putting ships on top of your deck, and just everything in here is about authority, authority, authority. I'm not going to die. I'm going to basically out-heal what you're doing. Then we move on to Dominion. Now, Dominion here immediately very combat heavy, but very controlling. We look at the ships they've got here. The battleship here, the Red Squad's Quarry, very powerful. Immediately coming in with 7 combat and draw a card. And everything here is target opponent discards a card, target opponent discards a card, draw a card. It's about replacing your hand and also getting cards out of your opponent's hands, as well as the cool scrap abilities to draw cards, scrap abilities to make your opponent discard a card. And then we have a lot, in the bases, a lot of filtering. The ability to discard 2 cards from your hand, then draw that many cards or gain more trade. Got a lot of damage in place. This one comes in with immediately 2 damage on your start of your turn, 3 damage. This one, and this is an absolute beast. The Great Link Dominion location. When you play a ship, gain 1 combat. This is very powerful, especially if you can utilize it with the draw cards abilities. If you can fill up your deck with a lot of ships and a lot of cards that read draw card, locations are bread and butter. This is what will keep you alive. But if you can get this down and play all these ships and keep drawing, because there's no cost, there's no resources to play ships. As long as you can keep drawing, you can keep playing, you can keep stacking combat, and that is a lot of fun. Romulans are very combat heavy, as we can see immediately, with some draw cards for allies. But these ones are scrap. This is a faction that everyone needs to be aware of what they do, because starting off, you will have 8 scout ships and 2 raiders. And as cool as that is, after like turn 4, they are pretty much pointless. Everything in your deck is more powerful than them, and you're kind of stuck with them unless you can scrap them. And that's what the Romulans are here to do. The Romulans come in, and you get to scrap them away. Looking very, very nice. Gladiators, red tallow. Let's look for what the flagship of this deck is. Flagship of this deck is the Mogai class Romulan, the Valdora. 6 combat, draw a card, ally ability, draw a card. So you can draw 2 similar to the Enterprise. You're getting 6 damage, and you're not getting any authority. And this is 1 cheaper on cost, so you can get access to it a bit sooner. Location-wise, you have the Artifact, the Borg Artifact Research Institute. So this is the origins of the Borg, and it has gain 5 combat or draw a card for each Romulan card you have played this turn. That is huge. Again, a lot of these cards say draw a card, so you can keep pushing deeper into it, scrapping what you don't need, making a nice streamlined deck which is going to get you a lot of Romulan cards and just let you draw more, stack up that combat, and just blow your opponent out of the water very quickly. And then we have the Klingons. Klingons are a very battle-heavy race, as we know from the shows and the IP, and this is no different. We're seeing a lot of trade and a lot of scraps, so it's looking to refine your deck, build up as quickly as possible, and then as we get into the higher level costs, it immediately switches to damage and more scrap ability, refining that deck, making it pure, making it very Klingon-eccentric, similar to what we've seen with the Romulans, stacking up as much as you can. Then we have the Bird of Prey IKS Toral and the IKS Okarana, which are very powerful ships, mainly because you get the choice. This is such a good one. With a lot of these cards that you see here, this one is just both abilities. This is an R. It allows it to be a bit cheaper with very strong abilities, because if you're already in a very powerful position and there's something down, say like the Borg Cube or the Enterprise, or there's another card that you want to get your hands on, you can get an influx of free trade right away. Or if you just need to deal with a location, if there's an outpost that's giving you some trouble, if your opponent is close to just being dead, you can get 5 combat, and 5 combat is 10% of the starting health total. That's absolutely huge. This is one of my favorite ones. Prototype Birds of Prey, the Klingon ship that allows you to copy another ship. So wherever you've played, if you've played an Enterprise, you can copy the Enterprise and then immediately get the 4th authority, 5 combat, draw 2 cards, and then you get the ally ability on both, allowing you to destroy 2 locations. This, for 4 trade, is an absolute menace. The more powerful ships you have, the more powerful this gets. Then we have the flagship of this deck, which is the IKS Neva. 6 combat, and immediately you may destroy target location, ally ability, draw a card. So this just comes in and says, doesn't matter how much combat you have, that location's going down and you're in trouble. The flagship location is the Hall of Warriors. Scrap 2 cards from your hand or discard pile, draw 1 card each way. This one, when you get this down, if you are on the cusp of taking your opponent down, if you're on the cusp of beating them, you just get to go, yeah, no, I'm going to get rid of 2 cards from my discard, draw 2 more cards, and bam, I've got the goods to kill you, and you just die. The game is looking very, very cool, and I'm very excited to actually get a game in person. I have just been practicing against AI at the minute because there's an app for Star Realms, but it doesn't have the Star Trek stuff, so I'm not that interested. Really, I just want to get some skills in with the game. I'm losing a lot, but and the games are quite quick. So this is Star Trek Star Realms. I am very, very interested to see where this game actually goes, how UVS are going to adapt it further, what expansions we may see coming, if it's going to get organized play, if we're going to see any oversized boss cards, because I believe Star Realms in itself has got oversized boss cards on itself. Imagine taking on a Borg cube or taking on Khan's ship. I don't know the name of it. I do apologize. I'm not the best when it comes to Star Trek, but I know there are some big bad ships out there. There's some big baddies out there. Or just taking on a fleet. You could even have, from the original series, you could have a god head. And you could just have them taking on any of the old massive villains, any of the new massive villains, and just gathering an armada to take them down is very, very cool. I know there's multiplayer forms you can go up to 4 players. I am very excited to actually get this game in, and I would love to see this as kind of a side event at regionals, at other things, as well as having its own event. Honestly, from what I've seen on Reddit, where talking to people who play Star Realms, the interest in Star Realms tournaments is there, and people do want to play them. I just think putting this rebranded skin on there, as well as saying there's more coming, there's more support coming for the games that you guys love, as well as hosting tournaments for it, would be very, very cool. Doesn't have to be competitive, doesn't have to be a world Star Trek Star Realms champion. I just think running an event for this kind of game would be amazing. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. How are you finding the games? If you did watch our Learn to Play video, did you find it informative? And are you going to pick this up? I've already got one. I'm going to get another one for my mother-in-law. And I'm really liking it this so far. I went in with an open mind. I bought it because it was a product that UVS had announced and I hadn't really seen advertised anywhere else. I didn't know this was a rebranding until someone told me. I thought this was just a new game. I'm an idiot. But it's really, really cool. I'm really excited to see where this is going. And I really want to get some games in. If you do want to play this game through webcam, through TTS, in person, let me know. I can bring it to events. I'm sure other people can bring it to events. I can rock it on webcam. I'm sure there's a TTS table of some sorts out there for this game. If not, we'll get one made. And I'll catch you in the next one. I've been having a lot of fun with this game. It does not play anything like I expected it would play. I thought you'd just get one faction, you play that entire faction. But no, you get to mix and match, and you get to have this collaborative effort from every faction working together to take down your opponent, and I absolutely love that. So, I've continually kept saying catch you next time, but actually this time, live long and prosper, and may RNG be on your side. Goodbye.